Nobody likes getting lied to, but whether we like it or not, everybody gets lied to quite often. The best way to prevent getting lied to is to take the small steps in learning how to spot a lie. But how does one spot a lie? Lie spotters are armed with the scientific knowledge on how to spot deception. They do what mature leaders do every day. They have difficult conversations with difficult people, usually during very difficult times, and they strung up that path by accepting the core proposition, which is the following: lying is a cooperative act. Think about it. A lie has no power whatsoever by its mere utterance, but rather its power emerges when somebody else agrees to believe that lie. So when you've been lied to, it's because you've agreed to believe that. Now, not all lies are harmful. Sometimes we are willing participants in deception for the sake of social dignity or sparing somebody's feelings. But there are times when we are unwilling participants in deception, and when we don't spot those lies, they can have dramatic costs for us. Here are some examples of schemes that have started with a lie. Think Enron, a company whose statements did not clearly and truthfully depict the company's operations and finances, eventually leading to bankruptcy in the company and the incorporation of transparency practices in company's financial statements. Or 8 years later, the elaborate Ponzi scheme of Bernie Madoff, where Madoff used his high society status on Wall Street and exploited his personal relationships with the rich and famous, such as actor Kevin Bacon and director Steven Spielberg, to fund his investments, which eventually collapsed, ruining his family, killing his company, and putting him in prison. It's estimated he took his investors for a cool $65 billion over the course of nearly 2 decades. Or in the case of double agents and traitors like Robert Hansen and Aldrich Ames, lies can betray our country, they can compromise our security, they can undermine our democracy, and they can bring death upon those who defend us. It's possible that these schemes could have been prevented, or at a minimum questioned, had the victims known how to properly spot a lie. Everybody, even though they hate to admit it, wishes they were richer or smarter or taller. The list goes on. Lying is an attempt to bridge that gap. Lying connects our wishes and fantasies about who we were with who we wish we could be. Studies show that on any given day you may be lied to anywhere from 10 to 200 times. Now granted, many of those are white lies. In another study, it shows that strangers lie within the first 10 minutes of meeting each other. We lie more to strangers than we lie to coworkers. Men lie 8 times more about themselves than they do to other people, where women lie more to protect people. Lying is complex. We are against lying, yet covertly for it. It waves that our society has sanctioned for centuries. It's as old as breathing. Think Shakespeare, Dante, the Bible. Lying has evolutionary value to us as a species. Researchers have long known that the more intelligent the species, the more likely it is to be deceptive. Lying starts quite early in life. Babies will fake cry, pause and wait to see who's coming, and then go right back to crying. 1-year-olds are in concealment, 2-year-olds are in bluff. 5-year-olds lie outright, they manipulate via flattery, and 9-year-olds master the cover-up. By the time we enter the work world, we enter a world clustered with fake emails, fake digital friends, media, genius identity thieves, and world-class Ponzi schemers. A deception epidemic, in short, what one author calls a post-truth society. So what do? There are steps to take in spotting a lie. 2 sections of deception are verbal dodging and body language.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody it's a lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
Notice how he used the formal version, saying I did not rather than I didn't. He also referred to Monica Lewinsky as that woman, kind of distancing his affiliation with her. Freud Hatterite said that there is much more to it than speech. No mortal can keep a secret. If his lips are silent, he chatters with his fingertips. With body language, you really have to throw your assumptions out the door. You need to let science temper your knowledge. We think that people fidget when they're lying, when actually liars are known to freeze their upper body. We think liars won't look you in the eye, when actually people tend to look you in the eye more to compensate for this myth. We think kindness and smiles convey honesty and sincerity, but a trained lie spotter can spot a fake smile from a real one. With smiles, you can consciously contract the muscles in your cheeks, but the real smile is in your eyes. You cannot consciously contract them. Here are two examples of smiles. One of these smiles is real and one of them is fake. This is the fake smile because you can kind of tell that their cheek muscles are contracted, but their eyes are kind of blank and just not really doing anything. And here's the real smile, which you can tell because you can kind of see the little creases in their eye. Another way to spot a liar through body language is by finding a person's hot spots. Finding a hot spot is finding a discrepancy between somebody's words and somebody's actions. When you are having a conversation with somebody and you suspect deception, attitude is the most overlooked telling of indicators. An honest person will be cooperative and they will show that they're on your side. They will be willing and helpful in finding the truth. An honest person will also most likely lean towards a harsher punishment. They will name suspects or help with details. An honest person will be infuriated through the entire course of the interview and not just in flashes. When you are having a conversation with somebody who is lying, the person will most likely be withdrawn and look down and most likely lower their vocal tone. When you ask a deceptive person to tell a story, they're most likely going to pepper it with way too many details in irrelevant places. And they'll tell it to you in a strict chronological order. What a professional interrogator will do over the course of many hours is ask the person to tell their story backwards, and then they'll watch them squirm and fidget because they can't remember what they said prior. They do this because over the course of interrogation, a person may say something and not knowingly have a physical reaction such as a slight shaking of their head or shrugging of their shoulders. Scientific studies have shown that people may increase their blink rate, point their feet towards an exit, or put an object as a barrier between them and the person questioning them. They will alter their vocal tone, often making their tone much lower as well. These behaviors are just behaviors. They don't mean anything in and of themselves, but when you see clusters of them together, that's your signal for deception. When you combine the science of recognizing deception with the art of looking and listening, you'll exempt yourself from collaborating and taking part in a lie. If you take my advice and choose to take these easy steps in spotting deception, you will most likely identify a lie before it hurts you or others, and that's the truth.